Okay.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another series of panel discussions by Optometry Council of India.
Ma'am, wait. We are still ye ho raha hai. Just a minute.
It's already saying live on Facebook.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Amod. Paula, you have to let Amod in.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are live.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just wait for a second for Amod. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another series of panel discussions by Optometry Council of India. And today's topic is something really very dear to all optometrists, practicing optometrists, as well as opticians as well. So today's discussion is on spectacles and contact lenses being notified as medical devices. It's a pre-notification that's come by the government, and we have a very esteemed and experienced panel, both in terms of spectacles as well as contact lenses. So let me introduce the panel first, and then after that, I'll just give some background, and then we can carry on with the discussion as well. So I have Mr. Hitesh Chakkar, who is from Mumbai, a very experienced practitioner there. Then we have Mr. Ramachandran, who's been in the industry for a very, very long time, the optical industry for a very long time, and is now a consultant, eye care consultant. Then, of course, Monica, everybody knows. She's the head of Allied Health Sciences at Ansal University. And we have Mr. Amod Gogte, who is very, very experienced in terms of contact lens industry and the rules and regulations towards contact lens industry. And of course, our hero, who's representing the contact lens, I would say, practitioners and educators, and will be airing their concerns in terms of, and their doubts to the panel in terms of contact lenses. So very good evening, everybody, and thanks for having spent the time to be part of this very important discussion, I would say. So just to give a background, the government has sent a pre-notification where the spectacles and contact lenses and the spectacle lenses, that is the ophthalmic lenses, are categorized as medical devices. So let's discuss about spectacles and frames as well as lenses first, and then after that maybe we can go on to contact lenses. So first question to you, Ram. So what's exactly this pre-notification? What does it categorize? Because there's so many discussions going on about A, B, C category and all of that. So what does it mean by this category? And what does it mean by actually being in this category or not being in this category, or being a medical device or not being a medical device, as far as spectacles and frames and lenses are concerned? You're muted, Ram. You're muted.
So good evening to all, and thank you, Lakshmi and OCI, for bringing all of us together. The time, which I think is quite complex, and I think this particular medical device, perhaps as a topic, is as complex as COVID, I guess. So I think it's a good time for us to speak about it. And so I'm not a legal expert, neither. I'm just coming from the industry perspective with the understanding of how this whole thing is going to shape up. So I will just give perhaps a kind of a reflection of how it all started. So Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on February 11th amended, it's called the Medical Devices Amendment Rule 2020. And they said that anything which is in medical devices will come under the purview of the drug controller, and which will be made effective from April 2020. So April 1, 2020. So now on April 1, 2020, there was a notification for that medical devices that fall under the following definition will be regulated as drug under the DCA and MDR. MDR is the medical devices category. So I just read the definition for you because it's very important for everybody to understand this. And it says all devices, including an instrument, apparatus, appliance, implant, material, or other article, which used alone or in combination, including a software or an accessory, intended by its manufacturer to be used specifically for a human being or animals, which does not achieve the primary intended action in non-human body or animals by any pharmacological or immunological or metabolic means, but which may assist the intended function by such means for one or more of specific purposes of diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, treatment, or alleviation, or diagnosis, monitoring, treatment for any injury or disability. So that's just to give you a broad definition of it. Then subsequently on September 3rd, the Directorate General Health Services Central Drug Standard Control Organization had issued a notice saying that this is further to the circular dated February 11th, that medical devices under definition will be regulated in a phase-wise manner. So we'll have to understand it's a regulation of the product and not of the what you call the profession. It's a regulation of the licensing of the product in accordance to Central Licensing Authority, which needs to classify such medical devices as per risk-based approach. And the department has been kind enough in asking for comments, feedback of the proposed add-on products under medical devices. So what they have done is they've asked, we are putting all this in spectacles. So what happened was that in that particular category, we had spectacles, frames, lenses, and a little bit of, many things associated with spectacle lenses, contact lenses, contact lens solutions, and so on. So just for our ease of understanding, in simple thing is that there are three categories: Class A, Class B, and Class C. Class A is low risk, which is spectacles, frames, and lenses. Class B is contact lenses. Class C is solutions. Class B is medium risk. Class C is high risk. So I end here. And this is just the definition. This is the background of the whole picture of what's happening.
Thanks, Ram. So basically what you're saying is they're trying to regulate the product and not who has to dispense the product. So I think that needs to be really very clear that exactly. All this that is being discussed is about regulation of the product, but not regulating who should and who should not be dispensing the product. Correct? Exactly. Is my understanding right?
Absolutely clear.
So next is to you, Hitesh. So from whatever background information that Ram has given regarding spectacles being under class, spectacle and lenses being under Class A, as an optometrist who has an optical outlet, most of them practitioners do have an optical outlet attached to it, or as owners of let's say chains and things like that. How do you think this is going to affect? Is it going to affect us in any way, or it's not going to affect us in any way? And if so, how is it going to really affect us? You're muted again. You're muted. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lakshmi, and thank you, OCI, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this subject. As of now, the law is just come in basically. So we need to really, understand the precise implications can be only understand in detail once it gets implemented. But in broader terms, what may happen or what I understand, I'll just give you a little briefing. This is going to be, from the manufacturer importer level to the retailer level. So I just say basically bringing spectacle frames and lenses under medical device would strongly hamper to the entire value chain from manufacturer, importer, and to retailer. As everyone will need to obtain a different license and registration as per the requirement of the law. So just to start with, like today, frame manufacturers are in either micro or medium enterprises. Yeah.
So you're saying even as a practitioner, I need to obtain a license?
This is what is, because not the practitioner. I'm talking in terms of retailer. Okay. I'm just saying this is retailer, and since precise implication is not there, so there's nothing mentioned about the practitioner only. This is as a trader, a retailer I'm talking. So, but basically there, everyone will have to take it, a retailer, some sort of a licensing. Maybe it's a very simpler logging in onto an internet and doing it, but it will be required. Now coming to the manufacturer part, the top one, today frame manufacturers are in India are either in a micro or a medium enterprises and are providing quality products and service at a very low cost model. Now once they are under the medical device, it comes under the Drug Control Act. And with that, they will have to go with the ISO certification, specifically number 13485. And the most challenging part for them would be to register and get approval of each product manufactured by them separate. So this is just I'm just giving you the brief of the manufacturer level, because all these factors are going to affect at the customer end or the retailer. Coming to the importers, so importers have to register each and every factory site and products from whom they are going to import by license. They have to pay the license fees and the inspection fees. Also, possibilities are there that the import duty may go up by way of medical sales implication. So this is a broadly how the cost may go in terms of the imports. Now this cost factor and implementation of legal requirement will lead to mass scale of closure of small optical shops, as they will not they won't be able to compile with the complex requirement of the law and work it. So it would be like the big organized big chain stores may have more advantage about the small retailer shops.
The other question, yeah. So you're saying basically it's going to increase the pricing as far as the end consumer is also concerned and as far as the retailer is also concerned, because each one will pass on their increased cost to the other person in the chain, in the supply chain. That is one thing that I could understand from what you're saying. The second thing,
go ahead.
I just wanted to ask was, we have so many, let's say, screening camps and NGOs and so many others who are actually providing low-cost spectacles in terms of the needy and things like that. So I'm sure that is also going to get affected by this in some way or the other.
See, Lakshmi, what I'm just saying, these are the things which I could understand from the, the implications we'll not able to know, but things which are manufactured in India also. As I said, the factories have to get registered once this is classified as medical device. So all these rules and regulations, getting product approved, registered will anyway come. So we need to, I'm just comparing the situation which may arise. And though this particular product, like it's category A, which is the most lowest category, and we can of course try for an exemption, which will take care of everyone and the small things. So just like this, what I said, spectacles will become more expensive, and it would not be easily accessible by the millions of people who are in need of them. And making it self-defining concept that contradicts the Vision 2020 objective of preventable blindness and the right to sight by the government of India.
Okay.
And as you are aware, we have got many representations being made by the industry, explaining the situations and their suggestions. So at this juncture, we have to wait for the real outcome in terms of what can happen. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. What you are saying, Lakshmi?
So Lakshmi, before you proceed, I just have a quick, very simple, basic question, because I'm sure there will be a few people like me in the audience who would like to get the basic understanding. When we say spectacle, does it cover everything, which is spectacle frames, spectacle lenses, sunglasses, accessories, the solutions that we use for cleaning, all those things?
See, Nilesh, spectacle frames and spectacle lenses, these three categories are very clear. Okay. The other things will come into accessories. I'm not talking about the sunglass and all. Because if you really go to the list, there is no sunglass word mentioned anywhere.
Okay.
There is somewhere something mentioned called tinted spectacles or tinted lenses for the spectacles. Okay. So basically, I'm just discussing today now, talking about spectacles, spectacle frames, and spectacle lenses.
Okay.
Anyway, today also, Nilesh, accessories like cleaning sprays and solution doesn't come in our category. It goes with the category of whatever, perfumes or whatever way it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
See, some of these things are new to me, and I'm not sure, but some of the students who are listening would probably find it interesting as well. Right.
And the other thing that I just wanted to ask is, in terms of the optical fraternity, of course, OCI has given its recommendation, and we have said that it would be good not to have spectacles and the ophthalmic lenses as medical devices. As far as the optical fraternity is concerned, is that the same way of thinking for you as well?
Yes, we are very much clearly, as I said, many of the associations has already applied to given the recommendation that this should be moved out of the medical device category. Since, if you simple words, if you said like frame, basically it rests on the nose. It's not touching the eye as well. The lenses also, they're all 12 meters away. So all this recommendation of moving out has been given by all major associations all over India on the similar lines and these are only for basically three things: spectacles, spectacle frames, and spectacle lenses, to be precise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lakshmi, you want to join? You want to comment something on that?
No, Lakshmi, I just wanted to add what Hitesh was saying is that, see, in US also, which is a very regulated market, spectacles have an automatic exemption from US FDA. Okay. So that is something which we have to make note of. Country like Singapore, just I'm giving some few instances, countries like Singapore, which is very optometrist driven market, and very the respect what is given to optometrists, which is legitimately due. I think we should learn from what Singapore does and many other countries does. In that, if you look at it, also spectacles are not considered as a medical device. Spectacle frames, lenses, contact lenses are, but not spectacle lenses and frames. Okay. So in which case, I think even a lot of BRIC countries and so on. So I think very clearly this drug control thing is a 1940 Act. So probably we're just putting it into that act, where spectacles probably was not considered that time. So I'm sure government will give a good hearing to this, provided we are able to give a good justification.
Yeah, okay. And also if you look at the WHO thing, I think you are familiar with that, Ram, saying that they are assistive. Yes. Spectacles are classified as assistive devices and not as some treatment device or things like that.
They're called as priority assistive device by WHO, and also ICMR has also picked that as a draft notification for them, which is circulation in their website, where spectacles are considered to be an assistive device, because we have to look at India as a national perspective. I mean, beyond eye care. See, we have so many people who are inaccessible to spectacles in the poor villages, poor people in the villages and towns. How do we reach this out? We have not make it complicated, the distribution system. At the same time, we'll have to follow certain governance, which is required. I am not saying this should be at the cost of quality, but at the same time, it should be done in a very efficient and a good way by which we can give spectacles to every Indian who is staying in the remotest part of the country.
Okay. I think that's a very, very important point. Right? You said that, don't compromise on in terms of, the regulatory framework as well, but at the same time, make it accessible to everybody. That's really absolutely very, very important as far as India is concerned. Nilesh, you have, what's your kind of take in terms of contact lenses and you're clearing your doubts and stuff?
No, that's exactly what I was coming to. So if you're due permission, we can move 12 to 14 millimeters posteriorly and start talking about contact lenses. And we are lucky that we have Professor Monica Chaudhary, we have Mr. Amod Gupte, who are so experienced and who have enough knowledge to probably clarify our points. I tend to feel that yes, contact lens could be correctly classified in category B. I'm not very sure about the solution, and I think that's where I'm going to start with Mr. Amod Gupte. So, sir, what is your take on this? What is this pre-notification saying about contact lenses? And my curiosity is more towards contact lens solution as well. You need to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Nilesh and OCI, for giving us this opportunity. I think all of us have expressed, especially Ram and Hitesh have expressed their opinion. Ram has given also some good pointers. Let me also come to one of the Gazette notification, which will bring us to the understanding of what a real medical device is. This Gazette notification was published on 11th of February 2020 by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And it's simple two-page notification. First page is in Hindi and the second page is in English. And it's a one paragraph which may help us understand what a medical device has been defined as. All devices, including an instrument, apparatus, appliance, implant, material, or other article, whether used on standalone or in combination, including software or an accessory intended by its manufacturer to be used specifically for human beings or animals, which does not achieve primary intended action in or on the human body or animals by any pharmacological or immunological or metabolic means, but which assist in the intended function by such means, one or more of the specific purposes. I know this paragraph was long enough, so I'll share this later. This is in public domain, so people can go online and find out.
This is the second time we are listening. Ram actually read this out.
Okay, so this was also the diagnosis, prevention and diagnosis monitoring, supporting sustaining life, disinfection of medical devices, and control of contraception. So the second last one, which is disinfection of medical devices, and that is where I think solutions come in. Any chemical formulation which clearly says disinfection of a medical device or of any surface by killing microorganisms, I think that has been classified. Now, we are not, look at from a government perspective, government is not defining it only for a profession or a healthcare segment, right? It is defining for the entire category of you could say things, devices. Its main purpose is to protect the health of the consumer or the patient in the society. So if the person is going to be using something by which his health can be affected, that is where government is trying to define. And Ram very nicely also said this notifications or regulations are more for the product and not for the person who's going to prescribe those products.
Correct.
At least for now, it is not that. So when it comes to contact lens and solutions, I think we need to be very clear about, while the contact lens solutions is supposed to clean and disinfect by its very nature of function, and that is where they already became medical devices or drugs more than a year ago. Whereas contact lenses were notified as the medical device only starting 1st of April 2020. And like, again, I think Hitesh was saying, all manufacturers of these products have to register every product with the government, and government currently has given 18 months time to register. So by end of September 2021, all the existing products would already be registered with the government. Now, whether they should be in category B, which is contact lenses, or category C, where, like a disinfectant, I think if the industry, the profession makes a common representation, like it has been suggested by Ram and Hitesh, that they want spectacles to be out of category A as well.
Right.
I think that might help. But whether we want to go that route is a question for all the stakeholders to decide. One is not about categorization A, B, C. It is more about categorization, whether you want to define a product to be medical device, a yes or a no. Because when it comes to medical device, there are few implications. One, the manufacturer has responsibility to maintain its quality of manufacturing, ensuring that the product is safe to the end user. Second, the prescriber's duty or responsibility is that they do a proper eye examination before they prescribe a product. Because if there is going to be any complaint, whether it is simple redness or a ulcerative keratitis happening because of the use of a lens or improper use of a solution, there is a corneal burn, then the prescriber also needs to take responsibility of what was the state of the eye before I prescribed the product versus after the product started to be used. And finally, the patient's responsibility, or I would say the ecosystem. For example, if the marketing team is going to go out there and say no rub solutions, and when the science is saying something else, or if patients say, no, I can just simply pour the solution in this bottle and keep it in sunlight and then it takes care of itself, whether that is good enough. So marketing claims will also need to be defined, because some of these marketing claims can be twisted by unregulated stakeholders. So if you need to really make sure that the evidence-based statements are told to the end consumer, by the prescriber as well as the manufacturer, I guess the whole gamut of whether this should be in class A, B, C doesn't matter, but it should be in medical device for sure. Because as every one of us, I think, agreed, contact lenses does touch the surface of the most sensitive part of our body, and it can have damaging impact in the long run.
Absolutely. And thank you so much actually for those inputs. I'm just move across to Monica and just going to request her to talk about the practitioner's point of view and how it's going to change the, practitioner's mindset, or how is it going to affect, first of all?
Okay. So thank you so much, OCI, and bringing in fact, a few days back when me and Ram were on a conference, on a telephonic call, we were still debating out what's coming up, and we're trying to understand. And even Hitesh spoke the same, that there are some clarifications of gray areas which we would not understand. But whatever we understand now, you see, as Amod, and just continuing with Amod, one thing, yes, we look forward to contact lens being a medical device. And the other statement is government is looking at a standardization and bringing in value to the public. Now, when that comes into government's mind, and they're going to look into that category, they're not going to look into whether a small businessman is going to be affected or a big businessman. Their motto and ambition is only to consider health and bring in standardization. So if it hasn't happened forever so far, their motto and their aim is this only. So considering that, I feel there'll be tough steps taken in. There will be an impact. And so if we say contact lenses, for an example.
So in a way, this is an opportunity to clear the house.
It is. Now you see, when you register, as you said, there is a wholesaler who can go and get that license, and he can, but he can never dispense. So if this is a retailer, the retailer also goes for a license. And as Amod said, till September, it's free. And then by 2022, we have to mandatorily put in. Now, when you go in there, you have to put in a license number. Now, in optometry or in opticianry, where is our license number? So the biggest gray area is who is this licensed person who can go and get himself registered? Now, that is not defined. Who defines that is the bill which is coming up. The bill has to complement to say, this is the person who's licensed. So heading the health science school and understanding the pharmacy program also, which is there. Now you see, pharmacy, nobody can actually run through a pharmacy shop or dispense any medicine unless he has a license, whether it is a diploma, minimum which is specified, or a degree, right? So the same policy under that, when you put in, you get a license, you get in as a retailer to a contact lens buying, you need to have that license number. Yes, unfortunately, we do not know till date what is this license number, what is the qualification, who's this person who's going to be. But of course, there has to be some definition which will come in and will be complemented by this regulatory framework. So another thing I would say is, we talk about reaching the unreached. We understand that spectacles have not gone into we have the grassroots level where there is the need for the spectacle. And if we regulate too much, we already do not have, and then we bring in this law of standards. And of course, that's important. As a consumer, it is important. But if a pharmacy cannot be opened in the country without having a diploma or a degree, which is wherever is the person in the country, remotest of areas, I think the same will follow in our things. So my way of seeing this as a practice is, it will regulate, it will ultimately bring in some kind of definition, some licensing, some registration, and it will complement, it will be good for the future, I think. And in the end, the consumer has to benefit. It is not me as a professional, whether I get all the benefit out of it or not. The country is only going to look at the fact that consumer has to be not suffering. And that's what even Amod said. It's that what we are looking at. So the practice, their transition time will be a big mess. But ultimately, whatever we may have certain problems because of these laws coming up, but ultimately government's long-term vision would be, of course, the consumer itself.
Okay, so what I understand so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, is this particular notification doesn't necessarily talk about regulation, but what Monica is trying to say is there should be an attempt for regulation which should complement this particular one. So altogether we are going towards ethical practice.
Not should be. In fact, it will be. It has to be. In fact, when you apply for that license, you have to say my license number. So my license number today to say I'm a qualified optometrist is what I have from OCI. Right. But of course, the government also has to say there is a license number.
Yeah.
I think
they will have to ultimately give that.
Right. I think at some of the world conferences which happened quite a few years ago, even in India, one of them, we have always heard people saying educate, legislate, and regulate, right? So it started with education. I think we are government very nicely. If you look at the last 4 or 5 years, we started with education, standardizing education first. Then you standardizing, you are trying to get in the regulation for the product, and then you are going to legislate the profession. So when all these three things will reach one particular path, the impact is going to be very nice. Also, while there will be some casualties, and I tend to maybe sound cynical here, but if you really want small time traders to start opening optical stores, a panwala opening an optical store, you need a regulation to start an optical store defined by the government. I don't know whether it means that you need to have a license to start an optical store as an optician. I don't know that part, but that would possibly prevent. Otherwise, what we have seen is any Tom, Dick, and Harry has a lot of financing money. He puts in and starts. So earlier it was a pawn shop or a whatever different grocery store, and suddenly he becomes an optician. That may have to stop at some place. And if that has to happen, then these regulations and legislations will certainly help.
So I'm just going to go back a little bit and ask a question, Amod sir, again. This is something to do with, you mentioned something about complaints, and the complaint could be as simple as redness or it could be an ulcer. So the documentation becomes important here, right? So correct. Do you think going forward, documentation is going to be the key and we have to be on our toes?
Yeah. So today, when we are talking of product registration, like Hitesh was saying, every company, whether it is contact lens, spectacles, or whatever, if that product is defined as a medical device, they will have to register this product. When any company registers this product in the country with the government, they will be asked to give a monthly report of what all complaints are coming against the product, whether it is a product quality complaint or whether it is a medical complaint. And interestingly enough, when I'm talking about contact lenses in my past experience, a patient calls up and says, well, I was wearing spectacles, or I was using this box of contact lenses for till now. I went in, purchased the same brand of contact lenses, same power and everything from a different store. And I started using it. And this is the first time my first pair, and it gave me redness. So I removed it, I cleaned it, put it back again redness. Now, what happens in this case is, as soon as the patient is reaching out to the manufacturer has to record the complaint in their database. It is through a process which is defined, and it is already defined in India in the sense that on an MRP level, every product has to have a customer care calling number or an email address by any manufacturer. I'm talking about contact lens and solutions. I don't know if that applies to all other MRP labels on other products as well. But when that happens, and even today, when in India, contact lenses are not regulated or registered by the government of India, because some of these products are, let's say, manufactured in the US or in Ireland or wherever, we have to report those product complaints to the respective FDA because the product manufacturing happened there, saying that there were 10,000 of these boxes manufactured and 5 of these boxes were sold in a particular country. And one of that patient ended up having a problem for one of that product lot number. And then that is required. If it is a medical complaint, then the company gets in touch with not only the patient who is complaining about the redness, but also with the person who has dispensed the box or even prescribed the box. And that is where the accompanying part, the second part of regulation of the profession comes in. Did the professional keep a record of the patient's eye health checkup, or what prescription, whether his eyes were good, not so good, fit to wear contact lenses and all that stuff. I think that will eventually come with the practitioner. Today it is not there, but as and when the practice professional will be regulated, that requirement to keep patient records will also come in.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Actually, Nilesh, if you look at best practice standards, which we have given as OCI, we have really kind of said that you have to maintain as a practitioner medical records. So I think we have kind of
we have been advocating those I mean, for a long time, but going forward probably it's going to be mandatory now, and then it will be implemented across.
Today when we any company has to report this medical complaint to US FDA in a monthly report, we simply say no medical records in the practitioner, and it goes away. But it's one small drop in the sea, right, for those. But when it gets to be reported to Indian FDA, and Indian FDA says, oh, no patient record, why not? Then that cycle will start moving up, and then people will come to the practitioner and say, why are you not keeping medical records?
Right.
So what my broad understanding is that in terms of, regulation of the product, which is going to happen through this medical device one, I think that coupled with the National Commission bill basically is going to bring in more and more ethical practices, is what my understanding is, as far as contact lenses is concerned. Now, I just want to move over back to Ram to ask that, let's say, Ram, tomorrow somebody has a complaint with some kind of spectacle as an end user. I'm just asking from a practitioner point of view. So how is that going to affect in terms of, let's say, spectacle, something to do with allergy or something else, or some complaint? So how will that affect in terms of spectacle dispensing?
Yeah, look at the current scenario. There is an redressal forum, which is consumer redressal forum, which is already there. So many of the it's not that some of the customers have not gone. Most of the companies, there could have been some redressal which has to be addressed. And this consumer forum is a very strong forum, which is there already in existence. So I think that addresses that. But I would like to probably supplement or probably complement what Monica also mentioned, that there is a need also for bringing in a little bit of quality thing by doing this kind of, this is a forward-looking thing of medical devices.
Yeah.
The reason why we are saying spectacles should not be under medical devices is not to compromise on quality or not to compromise on the way it is to be dispensed, but to make sure that it is easily accessible with lesser cost. I think that's the whole purpose of it, because India needs, today, if you look at India, it's hardly, world is looking at India in the eye care sector market. And we are at a very, if we do it right, I think we are going to go to places, and I think it will benefit all the students of optometry, because they are going to be either going to be an entrepreneur or going to be employed in various places. I think we have to look at the broader picture and see how we are going to do this. And I just hasten to add here that I think the time has come for us to recognize and coexist between optometrists, opticians, and ophthalmologists. I think somewhere in India, we have got a little bit disconnected, and we feel each one has got their own right to live and right to exist. But all of us have supposed to reach the ultimate goal is to satisfy the end patient or end consumer. I think we're all only blocks of it. And I think we have to recognize optometry as a profession. We need to respect that. We need to, at the same time, opticians who are there, have been there for long, family businesses have been managed. They're compromised a lot. We need to recognize that as well. Enhance their skill sets. I think that's where optometry colleges can help in trying to bridge this between giving them some skill sets which can help them, and that can also be done even without regulation. I'm saying that regulation come. I'm not saying that I'm not against it. But what I'm saying is, even before, we wait to wait for that. Let's start right now and get some kind of things to make the opticians also enhance the skill. And that will, I think, give us a great India, at least in the optical sector.
Yeah, and I think we need to remember optometry eventually emerged or developed out of opticianry, right? So there were optical dispensing opticians and there were ophthalmic opticians,
Correct.
which eventually became optometrists. So we didn't come out of somewhere else. We are all in the same family. The three O's, ophthalmologists, optometrists, and opticians, are all in the same family of eye care. So we definitely need to interact and work closely for coexistence and flourishing.
Amod, I just want to, I was surprised, as a layman, okay, or as a fresh graduate in optometry, if you look at just the classification of solution and contact lenses, is it surprising that something is in C and the one that is actually in contact with the eye is B? I mean, what's the why that kind of a categorization in terms of the solution and the actual lens, which might cause more harm? I mean, you can argue either way. I just thought that what's the basis behind that?
Yeah, it is only because of the English words that are being used for describing the function of the product. Anything which says disinfection is all categorized as C. Right? Okay. Anything. So if we were able to get contact lens solutions without the word of disinfection, even if they did not have hydrogen peroxides and other stuff, then automatically they will become category B. So today you have as simple as using some, let's say, soaps or Dettol and some of these special formulations, which could also be coming into category B and C. I'm not very sure exactly which of those will come where, but the moment the product label has the word disinfection, people who even don't know science, they only know the definition. They say, oh, disinfection, that means it has to be in category C. It's as simple as that. We need to educate the government policy makers so that hopefully, I don't know about other countries, maybe Ram and Hitesh, if they have some more information like they had for spectacles. If in other countries that was not in category C, but maybe in category B as a special case, contact lenses could move to category B. Solutions could move to category B.
Okay, so basically in summary, Colonial Raj has given us a lot of gifts, including English, I guess, and we blame it on that.
Yeah.
So just going back to Hitesh and Ram, just trying to kind of look at the overall picture in terms of reaching out to the public and providing the care and all of that in mind. So what do you think would be the best course of action? Either one of you can go first and then we'll take the other person. What do you think would be the best scenario in terms of both frames and lenses?
Hitesh, I think you should go forward.
Okay, thank you. So basically, I'm just talking about the spectacle frames, lenses, and the spectacles. We would ideally request government to, move out this category A because it's a low risk category, and to consider it and move it out. But if that's not possible, and since today government of India is wanting so many things to regulate, so it can be there. But if you really see category A, the most of the items in category A, which is a low risk item, many of them have got exemptions. Just it's so many products. So let it be in category A if it's really wanting, but to give an exemptions to these three products, that is spectacles, spectacle frames, and spectacle lenses, which helps it. This is what I would suggest to do.
Okay, and Ram?
I think this is probably what has been also recommended by and unanimously by most of the associations. I'm very happy to note that all the associations have come forward, and including the optometry fraternity has come forward and being logical about this and trying to establish the fact that we should try to get spectacles out of the medical devices class A category and probably give an exemption like US FDA, or maybe first option would be to remove it. If not, then have it under exemption route, which is also possible. And WHO is also supporting this, and also the ICMR is also recognizing that. I think probably, but as far as contact lenses is concerned, I'm not an expert like other distinguished audience here, but distinguished speakers here. But I think contact lenses perhaps is going to be under the medical devices. It cannot, because class B, I have not heard from my experience that it will be removed or will be given any this one. And class C, again, impossible is my personal view on this.
There is a question and a very interesting one. Nilesh, you want to ask that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is related to contact lens and contact lens products. And the question is, once they are like medical devices, will it be in a way helpful for us to be able to charge our professional fees? What are your thoughts on that, Monica? And
I would like to add that.
In fact,
in my first statement also, I feel the future is the retailing or online or things. Now the box is not so relevant. What will be relevant for us is the consultation and the professional fees. In fact, that is what is going to change with time. So there could be a retailer who could dispense that thing, but that cost, he's got a license. But what is more important to differentiate is your professionalism and the professional fees. So people can, even if suppose the online portal somewhere has that authority to retail it, or somebody who's just bringing it out, patients could be buying it, but it is the professional fees which will be more important. And I think it's across the globe, many countries which are following the same pattern. Amod, you would like to add that something?
Yeah. So one is, of course, being into category B and category C, all medical devices will definitely require a prescription for purchase. And maybe in category A, a prescription may not be required. I'm not very sure in all the countries whether that is applicable, but it will definitely help to be contact lenses and solutions to be a medical device. And just to add one more point, because I'm not 100% sure, I was trying to find out if I have that document for reference. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this. All daily wear approved contact lenses are in section B. All extended wear contact lenses or continuous wear contact lenses are in some countries classified in category C. So we don't know what is the status for India. We don't know that part.
So within contact lens also there could be further classification.
Correct. Because I am aware about the US FDA classification when you have to get a 512K approval after the clinical trials. If a product is extended wear approved, it requires a different set of approvals from FDA by giving more clinical data versus if it was a daily wear. And that's what I'm saying. So in India, I don't think they have made that classification. They've just put all contact lenses under one.
In one, yeah.
Yeah.
Irregular cornea is just adding to that statement. So as we said, professional fees, you need to have a prescription. And I say irregular cornea, specialized contact lenses.
Yeah.
So I was just coming to that only.
To deliberate on it, maybe the time will say, it's not at all going to be without prescriptions, and there has to be a strong regulation into those kind of prescriptions.
Yeah. And, my understanding is we are probably new. The entire country is new to this kind of thing with contact lens. So probably the entire contact lens category will be just one category. And going forward, as people understand this better, there could be a sub-classification going forward. But I think it's up to us how we look at this entire scenario, right? They're doing at least two positive things if I look at them. One is this is making all of us come together. Right. This is making all of us practice more ethically and more systematically and look at contact lens and the overall contact lens workup and, examination more professionally rather than looking at a product, selling a product. So I think these are definitely the positive changes coming out of all these things. What do you guys think? Does it make sense, or am I just being too idealistic?
No, I think especially following a proper protocol for eye exam, keeping medical records, and especially, so most of us, maybe 95% on the plus, we think of simple refractive error correction contact lenses, right? But like you brought up, or Monica said about specialty contact lenses, whether it is orthokeratology or stuff, even within that current disposable contact lens set, there are products which are approved as bandage contact lenses. And I'm sure they will definitely be coming under category C if somebody looks deeper into it, because bandage contact lenses are given over the operation table or in the most compromised corneal health state. Similarly, there would be some products in the future which could be drug delivery contact lenses. It could be light management contact lenses. It could be lenses which impact myopia. So all of those would need to be looked at differently rather than being clubbed as one category of contact lens. But it will definitely bring in more professionalism for the person who's going to dispense it, and more controls over how he or she maintains the patient's record for the patient safety.
Yeah, so that's where the bill or the commission which is setting up. Correct. So that's the regulatory body which the government has to decide that this bandage contact lens has to be prescribed by whom, this particular specialty, what are the guidelines. So I think Medical Device Act is the first step, but it has to bring in the other kind of understanding also, which is totally not there right now for us to comment. But gradually it has to come in.
I just want a quick comment from all of you on, in terms of online sales, because that always becomes a point of contention in any kind of discussion. So just to ask you, Amod, so let's say that contact lenses get categorized as medical devices. I'm assuming that it will take the same pathway as Europe and UK have gone, in terms of somebody needs to prescribe, somebody needs to make sure that the other person's prescription is so-and-so and authorize it before they buy it online, correct?
Yes. So one is about the product availability on whether it is the stores, which is a physical selling point, or an online selling point. The manufacturer as well as the patients are more concerned about what if they have a problem. If the manufacturer needs to recall the product for whatever reasons, they have to replace the product or just recall, or if the patient has a problem, whom do they contact? So if the government puts in guidelines saying, and it has been there, right? Even before the internet era, we know 1-800 contacts has been there in the US, and every manufacturer had their own fights in the government as well as in the court of law. But eventually the guidelines evolved. So today there is somebody who takes responsibility that if something happens to the health of the patient's eye, it is not only the manufacturer or the seller, it is also the person who is going to be prescribing the product is also held equally responsible. So I think in India, we will eventually need to go to that particular state.
Sorry, Lakshmi, there's a very interesting question, and I think I'm just gonna ask Don. Yeah. If this goes ahead, and I think it is going ahead now, that contact lenses are under the medical devices, will contact lenses get insurance cover?
Very interesting point. In some countries, when they wear medical devices, contact lenses have been insured, and that's a good part of it, right? Yeah. So when you come under a bigger umbrella of a medical device, everything which gets impacted to a medical device by a government policy will automatically be impacted. And that is where I would actually tend to even suggest to my optician or optical fraternity friends, please try to be maintaining in section A or low risk category A, and try and be under an exemption clause rather than being completely out of category A for spectacles. Because if you want some controls over it, and if you want to get the benefit, for example, if you want the import duties to be lessened, just because this is also saving the site and giving site, I think all that benefits will come if the product category gets regulated. But this is, I know, for the optical fraternity to decide finally what they want to recommend. It would certainly help if you are under the bigger umbrella and get some exceptions for your category itself.
The other question, both to Ram and Hitesh, is that, nowadays you're getting so many devices, which they will say that you can just check the refractive error on your own, or the computer testing of refractive errors. I'm talking about laptop environments, and then go to a place and get the prescriptions done, and so on and so forth. So is somewhere I feel that definitely even spectacle dispensing needs to have professionalism. I'm sure Hitesh would also agree, somewhere down the line, you really need to have some kind of professionalism in doing that. And it's not a very simple thing that you just say, okay, ये right में 2 डालो, left में 3 डालो और दे दो बस. All of us know it is not as simple as that. I'm sure Ram also agrees it's not as simple as that. So how do we kind of, and online sales of spectacles and all of that, that is definitely going to happen. So you think that this is going to really impact all of that? Either one of you again can start and the other can follow.
I would like to just go back. Yeah, I just like to go back a bit on this National Blindness and Visual Impairment Survey, which was done in 2015-19. And by Ministry of Health, I'm quoting from Vision 2020. The visual impairment URE is around 43% in India. So it is a huge, humongous task for all of us, which means from the business side, there is opportunity. I think it is not, I'm not looking from the social angle, I'm purely looking from the business angle. There's an opportunity to reach. And we have to reach to the rural masses. That can be through philanthropy and so on. Not at the cost of, again, quality. It has to be done. And quality means also rightly what you have said, it has to be properly dispensed with. So my recommendation, suggestion would be that irrespective of the law, because we Indians, we have even so many laws are already there, that we always find a way to navigate through that. I think we should, as a responsible citizens, try to be a little bit self-regulatory. So, for instance, we perhaps can be self-regulatory in having a quality parameters checked for all products coming into India as a self-regulatory route. I think OCI did a wonderful thing. I think some of you were, I think you, Monica, I think have been the founder members of this. And more than perhaps, I'm sorry, or Nilesh as well. So I think that you did a wonderful thing of at least trying to get some self-regulatory thing. What is your ambition? Nothing. I mean, nothing personal. But why not we do something in the quality parameters also for the products? I think, and then we move forward. And quickly, I want to mention about I think it's imperative now that you need to charge for the professional services. I think that you're demeaning what you're doing today. And if you don't, even for prescription generated, for spectacles also, I think it's important that we need to charge. Otherwise, this is not the way we are going to do business as we go along. And I think this needs to be, there should be a mass education about this. I would I'd be happy if optometry associations and the optical associations sit together and try to come up with some kind of a common platform on this particular issue.
Hitesh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree to what Ram says. Basically, we need some regulations, and dispensing optics, like world over, if you see developed countries, they all have category as optometrists and even as dispensing optics. And there are many people practicing in the form of dispensing optics. So, and anyway, these things, when we suppose if this is categorized in medical devices, sooner or later, there will be something called dispensing optics, people who cannot do the optometry part. And of course, educated people will help, able to give better vision. And for, there are so many courses also. The only thing is the lack of education in terms of dispensing optic is required. We did try it in Mumbai in Lotus College, and we had 2 years, we did the dispensing optics course. Unfortunately, we had very less students, but if we, we are ready to do it if it is required. And as Amod was saying about this pricing and all, because again, it is linked through the online thing, what Lakshmi is saying. Whatever rules and regulation now applies in weight and measure department as an MRP or anything will be for everyone. So like if it is even, it's a spectacle frame, and if it comes in medical device, and if you need to put the tag, it has to have everything, the manufacturer name, the importer name, and the customer number, contact number, and everything. So see, and even when India has to develop and go further and fight with the other developed countries in the world, something has to be improved. So dispensing optics can be very helpful, and to cater this online, to fight against with these online sales, and it would be helpful to it.
So I think we just on time with all the discussions, and I don't know, I really enjoyed
me too.
A lot of education for myself. I'm sure Nilesh has also learned a lot through this.
Because this is one area I generally don't study much. So thank you all the panelists for throwing some light and enlightening me a little bit on this.
And I think we as panelists also learned a lot of things. It was not only we are coming here as experts. No, we also came in to learn a lot of.
I fully agree. In fact, 4 days back, we were discussing what's it all about.
And
So,
you won't believe
there are things to understand in it. And of course, as Hitesh had said, it's a progressive step. Let us take into it. If I'm a consumer, I'm looking at quality. And Ram had said, why not? If I'm buying a spectacle lens, I need a good quality. If I'm buying a contact lens, I need it from a good practitioner who can take care of my eyes. So overall, yes, as Amod's word used a very right word, there might be some casualties, but we are looking at it as a progressive step.
Yeah. And as I said, in 2018, when, all of this came into existence, like something like this is going to happen or whatever, as a lay person, my understanding was only MBBS people can dispense medical devices. So I think this understanding
you have come up the curve now. Now the understanding is a lot further developed.
Correct. No, but I don't think many people really know that the pre-notification and all of that is more from a product point of view, and it's really not to do with regulating the profession and stuff like that. So I think this discussion has really helped in, clearing a lot of air, a lot of myths, a lot of rumors. I think people should benefit from whatever discussions we've had now, saying that this is what it is, and this coupled with the National Commission bill is what is actually going to happen on the ground finally. I think that's I hope I've kind of summarized it quite well.
Yes,
absolutely.
So thank you all for your time. Thanks Ram, thanks Hitesh, and I think we've all coming from different parts of the country as well. So it's really nice to see everybody from different corners here. And I think what Nilesh really said was the essence, that it's made people come together. If not for anything, this has really made us discuss what is the implication in terms of the profession, be it ophthalmology, be it optometry, be it opticianry. And I think it's really made everybody in the eye care sector kind of come together. So that's the biggest positive, I think.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. OCI did the right job, of taking the lead in terms of discussing this particular new thing, which is like going to be it's a very new, because this type of law in optical field, everyone has to learn about it. So thanks to OCI, and discussion on this subject still will go on. This is just the first step.
This is just the beginning. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of us.
Okay. Yeah.
There's thank you, OCI and the team. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Thank you.